Rivalries make football great. This goes back a long way. Ben Johnson put fuel on the fire. The rivalry didn't start there. I am all about anger. I am all about nonsense when it comes to rivalries. Ben Johnson made a mistake with how he handled the handshake line. That's what this rivalry has always been. And there's a personal rivalry here. And rivalries make football great. They do. And Ben Johnson was absolutely not at fault, except for he was kind of a little biatch in the handshake line. We will get to all of this. But you know what? The Bears and the Packers is one of, if not the most storied rivalry in the history of the NFL. Curly Lambeau, George Halas, those two teams are the NFL. And frankly, over the years, they've developed a hatred. This goes back a long way. Mike Ditka in 1985, with the best team I ever saw in football, started the whole refrigerator parry scoring from the goal line. The big old 300-plus pound nose tackle out of Clemson became an absolute media legend because Mike Ditka, the coach of the Bears at the time and former player of the Bears, hated the Packers. So what did he do? When he got to the goal line, he tried to, and did in fact, rub it in the face of the Packers by having the fridge carry the ball as a fullback, pummeling in a route over the Packers. Now, the rivalry didn't start there, but I don't want to go back too much farther because, well, 1985 is a long way to begin with. But that's what this rivalry has always been. And there's a personal rivalry here. Because when he was introduced as the head coach of the Chicago Bears, the head coach Ben Johnson said, yeah, I like beating Matt LaFleur's ass twice a year, referencing to when he was in Detroit and in the same division as Green Bay and beat their ass twice, or at least according to Johnson. No. This goes back to fans. This goes back to Aaron Rodgers calling basically the Bears and the Packers his biatch. You know what I'm saying? I own this place, and I absolutely love it. All right, let's go through some things. The only thing I didn't love was this right here, the handshake. You are a coach. You get your ass beat. This is a weak-looking picture. The man on the right, Matt LaFleur, looks strong and dignified. The man on the left who won the game, Ben Johnson, looks weak, whiny, and pathetic. You win, you lose. In a rivalry, you walk up to the man and shake his hand. I was a part of a lot of these. Bob Knight, Gene Cady, us against Toledo, which may not seem big to people, but certainly in Northwest Ohio, Bowling Green, Toledo was a massive game. And I'm just telling you, win or lose. Now, I did some shenanigans, but win or lose, man, you know what? You shake the other man's hand by standing up. You don't be mealy-mouthed, bend over, and get out of there. See, men stand up straight, boom. Now, bad moment for Ben Johnson after 3 or 4 hours of great moments. But as a coach, and I coached in a lot of these, I played in a lot of these, hey, man, good game. And then you go in the locker room and you do this. You do this. No problem with what Ben Johnson did in the locker room. Here's postgame. And you see in that picture, if we run it again, look on the left, big old dude clapping. On the right side, if we could play that again, if you get it queued up. Big on the right there. See those guys? Those are the bosses. And the guys in the suits. That's Poles, that's Kevin Ward, and they're clapping. They are clapping. They are happy. Because if you are going to be an Indiana Hoosier, you dislike Purdue Boilermakers. If you are going to be a Purdue Boilermaker, you dislike the Indiana Hoosiers. If you're going to be a Packer, you dislike the Bears and vice versa. Now, as a coach, the handshake, no good. But as a coach, in your locker room with your guys and your bosses, after a win like that, you do whatever the hell you want. Whatever makes your team happy, whatever makes your team have one of the greatest moments of their Bears careers. Some of the guys in that locker room have had great moments at other places. Don't get me wrong. But in their Bears careers, to come back like they did from 18 points down, to come back down 11 late and win that game in front of one of the great crowds that I have ever seen in the NFL, you celebrate like there's no tomorrow. And however you do it with your team, whether it's F the Packers, say a prayer, game ball, move on to the next, all the things that coaches do, I don't care. In that locker room, you do it. Now, the Bears obviously wanted this out, or it would not have been out. And coaches used to have control over this. Like, this stuff wasn't getting out except for when a manager did it to Bob Knight, put a recorder in practice, which still pisses me off to this day. But anyway, coaches used to have control. Hey, man, do not put that out. I don't want to see that anywhere. In fact, give me your phone. I'm erasing it. That ain't it now. This is bigger than you as a coach. People understand. Coaches, GMs, they come, they go. So we're going to put this out. We're going to exacerbate it. We're going to keep our fans riled up for the next one. And the next one comes up this weekend against the Rams, and the entire city of Chicago is energized. That's where I'm from. That's where my people are. My daughter lives there. All my buddies are around there. Bears fans. They got pictures from guys and their kids in the crowd at the game. It's insanity, and it's great. And as a coach, all you want is your players enthusiastic. All you want is your players ready for the next one. But we're celebrating tonight. You know, college coaches sometimes say 24-hour rule. I wish I could have abided by that, because I was happy 48 hours after, and I was still miserable until we got the next win. But anyway, here's from Armando. The attention, even backlash on Ben Johnson and his behavior after Saturday's electric comeback victory over the Packers was so viral on social media the past 2 days that the Bears coach addressed it. Now let's cut to the chase. Johnson isn't apologizing. He's not backing down. He's not explaining why he's so tightly wound about a kid's game. No, he's not. Here's Ben Johnson on if it's personal between him and Matt LaFleur.
About like between you and LaFleur, you know, the 2 wins things, the handshakes, beyond, you know, getting this important playoff win. Why is this important to you, or is there something personal beyond that?
This is a rivalry, and city of Chicago, Green Bay, it needs to be a rivalry.
The most beloved coach in the history of Chicago sports was Mike Ditka, and he never missed an opportunity to take a shot. I don't care if it was a shot at the commissioner, an opposing team, an opposing fan base, an opposing GM, an opposing coach. He was protective of the Bears. That's what the Bears used to be. And I want you to think about Mark Trestman. Huh? What are you talking about? Lovie Smith and his quiet demeanor? No, Lovie Smith won a lot of games, a terrific coach with the Bears, but didn't resonate. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with when you come after Ditka. Mike Wannstedt was the following coach of Ditka, and he was kind of in the portfolio of Ditka. Eastern Pennsylvania guy, tough former football player guy, but he didn't have the oomph. He didn't have the sarcasm. He didn't have the ability to go out and simply protect his own while making fun of others. Ben Johnson has it in a different way. Ben Johnson has a confidence that Bears fans like, but we've seen him rip off his shirt. We've seen him in the locker room, and I got to tell you, Bears fans are 10,000% in on it, and if you're not, so what? That's the way the world works, and that's the way the world should work. Hey, now, they always say if you're an owner or you're a manager or you're an athletic director or whatever, you should hire somebody that's not like you. The McCaskey family is legendary for not being happy with swearing. Okay, well, guess what? Ben Johnson swore with his boss is Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren in the locker room. Did the McCaskies and management have a problem? Here's Ben Johnson with an answer.
Ben, did your F the Packers comment that you had after the game? It's kind of gone viral since then. What do you make of that? And I guess how much has George McCaskey maybe given you feedback on that, maybe embraced those remarks?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, there's a rivalry that exists between these two teams, something that that I fully recognize and I'm a part of. And yeah, I mean, I don't like that team. So George and I have talked, and we're on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, and this is great for sports. I guarantee you, Ben Johnson, this is stuff I can read. I can read people. Ben Johnson gets out of there and he goes, "Can you believe these dipshits don't understand? I should have done it on the field." But I will say this, Ben Johnson made a mistake with how he handled the handshake line. He gave us, the media, pundits, whatever we are, he gave us fodder. Bending over, running out of there, that kind of thing. Should have stood up, looked LaFleur right in the eye, shook his hand. That makes a bigger impact. You look the guy in the eye, you make a smirk like, "I got you, bitch." That makes the impact. That's it right there. Not being kind of bent over and nope. LaFleur looks strong there. Johnson looks weak. But hey, guess what? LaFleur's not playing next week, and Johnson is, and Johnson has his team and his city rallying around him. And I got to tell you, as a guy that grew up watching Bob Avellini, Jack Concannon, Gary Huff, Bobby Douglas, Mike Phipps, and a horrific group of Bears players until 1984, 85, 86, it's good to see. It's great to see. And if you're a coach, you got to be who you are, and that's who Ben Johnson is. So good for Ben Johnson. Speaking of coaches, college basketball, and by the way, while you're here, let's make sure we head on over to youtube.com/@don'tatme with Dan Dakich. Like, comment, subscribe. That way you'll never miss any of our great content, and feel free to argue with each other as well. We get a kick out of it. We love when people throw hands. YouTube chat's pretty good. It's getting bigger, and the show is growing, and we thank all of you for being involved. By the way, I just got a notice. Moderna stock is up 5% today. Yeah, I get these notifications. I can't read. Anyway, college basketball. Well, college basketball ain't what it used to be compared to just a couple of years ago. You can say that about college sports in general. A couple of years ago, Indiana football would never have been in a national championship game. Kansas head coach Bill Self made that abundantly clear when he was talking about how the Big 12 is far, far deeper than it's ever been. Remember, Self went on an epic run of decade and a half every year, winning or tying for the Big 12 championship. Now he's going to explain, and he simply says, "Look, our league's a bitch." Here he is.
Obviously, these teams are very different than the previous 2 years, but it seems like when you guys get to conference play, it's been kind of a struggle compared to non-conference play. Have you seen anything these last few years of like why that is?
First of all, our league is a bitch. That's one thing. Secondly, the way that I see this isn't that we can't have a terrific team, isn't that we can't get it flipped. The one thing that we have to know is, and it's much like last year's team and the year before too, not so much the year before that, we were a 1 seed, is the margin for error isn't like it used to be. I mean, we're not bringing pros in off the bench. Let's just call it like it is. That's not an excuse because the guys out there are good enough, but the margin for error, if Markeith and Marcus want to take a couple of possessions off and give up a couple of threes, you know what? You got to play a lot harder than that. But our Jimmies were better than your Joes.
Is that a NIL thing, do you think, or is that just?
That's just college basketball. Yeah, that's college basketball. Everybody's going to go through it. Some teams that haven't gone through it are having some good fortune in why they haven't gone through it. But make no mistake what I'm saying, not an excuse. But we got good enough guys. But the margin for error isn't one that we can let teams believe that they can beat you. And we give other teams that confidence, and the next thing you know, hey, playing at home, when they get cooking.
Yeah, what he's saying is we don't have the same kind of players we used to have. And he was very careful saying that, and that's pretty smart. Yeah, I mean, that's why I like NIL. I said the other day, look, college sports has never been in a better position. Think about it. Everybody's getting paid. Used to be broadcasters and coaches got paid. Now everybody's getting paid. Athletic directors getting paid, players getting paid. Hell, everybody's getting paid. I saw managers had an NIL deal because some fat ass walked around with a boombox last year. But it ain't what it used to be. And I don't know that that's a bad thing. I don't know that it's a great thing. But remember, the Kansas Jayhawks under Bill Self, let me go to this, won the regular season Big 12 championship every year from 05 to 18. Now think about that just for a second. 05 to 18. That's 14 straight years. 14 straight years of winning their conference championships. You're not going to see that again in Power 5 conferences. Why? Because guys can go buy players. I mean, back in the day, only certain teams were buying players. A lot of people had different ways of doing it. Dean Smith, Roy Williams, those guys, they would say, all right, I'm going to give you 15, 20 grand in golf clubs when you graduate. All right. That got caught. They got busted. You couldn't do it. Well, everybody was doing it different. Kentucky, they'd take you out to a horse track, Keeneland on a visit, give you $100 on every horse in a race. If a 10-to-1 shot won that race, you won $1,000. You kept the cash. I mean, this is the way guys were doing it. A lot of guys were doing it that way. Hell, Michigan, back when Bill Frieder and Steve Fisher were there trying to get the Fab Five, they gave a liquor salesman, the late Donnie Kirksey, $10,000. Next thing you know, Juwan Howard ends up at Michigan. This is all alleged, but hey, what are you going to do? I'm watching a Michigan football game, and there's Donnie Kirksey, a liquor salesman, Seagram salesman from Chicago. He's standing right next to Steve Fisher on the field as he is being interviewed halftime of football game. And he got $10,000 to give a speech at the camp. That was a big way for college coaches to do it. And I believe Self did it as well. I don't know. I know what I hear, and generally what I hear is right. Hey, man, come to our camp. We'll pay you 10 grand, give a speech. Well, I'm a liquor salesman. You're assistant coach at Juwan Howard's high school. Oh, okay. So now everybody's doing it. Indiana, shoot, are you kidding me? I got pulled off the road because I made a phone call while another assistant had made a phone call to the same recruit, and you were only allowed one phone call per week. I had to come from Canada back home and try to save my job over a phone call while these clowns were doing all this stuff. But now everybody's doing it. It's perfectly legal. So don't at me. Billy Self, now you got a coach. Now you got a coach, son. That's what you got to do. That's why I always said Bob Knight's the greatest coach in the history of college basketball. He went to the Elite Eight with a guy like me starting. You kidding me? I could literally not touch the rim. I mean, what are you, nuts? Now, Mick Cronin, he's a genius now. Now, Mick Cronin has all the damn answers. He doesn't understand why college basketball coaches have diarrhea of the mouth when announcers come to shoot around and the media asks questions during a press conference. He doesn't think that's beneficial for his team. He's not opposed to being a bad guy when he comes to a relationship with the press. Post-game press conference after his Bruins beat Maryland Saturday night. Cronin explained his rationale, citing some of the most successful football coaches in recent history as part of why he chooses to be tight-lipped about his game plan. I give him credit. When I was doing games at ESPN, I did one of their games, and he did me such a solid. He said, yeah, Dan, I'll talk to you, but you know what? I don't like having media in our shoot-arounds. I go, thank you. He looked at me. I go, I don't want to come to your fucking shoot-around. He started laughing. Why would I want to come to a shoot-around? Watch a bunch of entitled 18 to 23-year-olds act like they're tired, walk around, and a coach trying to pose. I didn't need that in my life. Here's Cronin.
You know what? I'm going to tell you a story I find interesting. Basketball coaches love attention. So announcers come to shoot around. Then announcers come in here, or media come in here, that are smart. You ask the right question. Basketball coaches got diarrhea of the mouth. Yeah, here's what I did. Here's what we do. Why the hell would I tell you that? You really think that like Saban or Belichick or, my man, Google Me would tell you? I mean, Google Me ain't telling you nothing. He ain't telling you nothing. But you guys, should you ever listen to games? In shoot around today, they were saying this is the game plan, and everybody in the league is listening. So I don't understand that in basketball. Maybe I'm a bad guy, but I don't even, like, they're not in there. But when we go to do our game plan, they're out.
Man, you have no idea, Slick Mick, how much of a favor you're doing for media. I mean, there ain't nothing better than when a coach says, yeah, we're not having any media. And I used to love doing Michigan games because Beeline would be like, hey, man, oh, shoot, I don't have to go listen to some coach pontificate. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your damn mind? Huh? Are you crazy? Hell yeah. I mean, listening to these jackasses pontificate is one of the most miserable experiences of my life. Going in and listening to Juwan Howard pontificate on basketball is arguably the same as for me eating olives. Sucks. It's no good. Nothing good about it. Absolutely, coaches can be too open with information. Absolutely, they can be tight-lipped. Everybody's got their own deal. You know, everybody points to Coach Knight. Coach Knight would tell you anything you want to know. He didn't care. He just knew we were going to out-coach you and probably outplay you. Didn't care. Anyway, long story short, I like Mick Cronin, but I'm tired of coaches and they're pontificating. People ask me, why don't you have coaches on your show? God, have you listened to them? Have you listened to Izzo? Have you listened to Painter? Have you listened to these guys? Man, oh man. You want the cure for insomnia? Find a reel of basketball coaches talking about life, philosophy. That shit will put you to sleep faster than NyQuil without the headache or the drowsiness in the morning. It's a deep sleep. So when Mick Cronin sits there with his JV ass telling you, well, let me tell you something. Shut up. That's when I just absolutely tune it out. And I like Mick. Mick's been on my show. I've known Mick since he was a junior varsity coach in Cincinnati. I like him. But listen to these dudes pontificate. I lift the cheek. All right, we'll be right back. He's resplendent in his green, the U, against Indiana. I'm not at the home studio, so I don't have all my Indiana stuff on. All right, tell me what you see happening here, big boy. Indiana, Miami National Championship.
Well, Dan, thank you for not, insulting me right off the top.
No.
A Miami, fandom and having, attended there and graduated from there and so forth. I expect that Indiana should win, right? That's what everybody expects. They're undefeated. They're the number one team. They've got the Heisman Trophy winner. They have a genius for a head coach. It's all about them, except that's what I heard when before Miami played Ohio State.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard before Miami played Ole Miss. Oh, yeah. They're hot. They're SEC. Blah, blah, blah. Bro, Miami doesn't care about any of that. They really don't. Those kids were raised different. And they were raised for this moment. And I expect them to meet the challenge, and I expect them to dominate the line of scrimmage, and I expect them to give Indiana a great game.
I think it's going to be an absolute fantastic game, and I agree with you. People counted them out against Ohio State, particularly in the Midwest. You know, we were shocked, and they dominated Ohio State. They did. Where did this come from? You know, you're talking about a team that lost to Louisville. You're talking about a team that lost to SMU. Where did this come from? What happened? Is there anything that anybody can point to at Miami that turned this season into this?
Well, matchups matter.
Yeah, they do.
And they got some matchups that worked in their favor. Also, development matters, and that coaching staff has improved that team as it's gone. They are playing their best ball late in the season. That's what championships teams should probably be doing, is playing their best ball at the end of the season. So all those things matter. I know that Mario Cristobal gets a lot of grief for his game or in-game decisions or in-game handling, including from former employer Nick Saban, who went at him at one point on ESPN, on national television, and they had a back and forth that was supposed to be banter, but felt like a little bit more than that. And they went back and forth. But the bottom line is he's handled it well, and he has done a very good coaching staff a very good coaching job with his staff, with this talent, and they do have a lot of talent.
Yeah. I know what this means for Indiana. You know, I've said this before. I was there 17 years. Went to every football game. I've been an Indiana football fan since 1973. My first game, I was 10 years old. I know what this means to us, but the Miami community, and I want to go a couple different directions here. Mario Cristobal, a native. Mendoza, a native. Pons, the excellent corner, a native. Mendoza's dad played with Cristobal in high school. What does this mean to the Miami community? Even Mendoza coming back to play, Pons coming back to play. What does this mean to the Miami community?
Well, so Miami is one of those cities that it doesn't, unlike other cities that host big events, it doesn't get swallowed up by the event, right? Mm-hmm. I covered a Super Bowl in New York, and most of New York wasn't aware that there was a Super Bowl in New York.
Yeah.
You cover a Super Bowl in Pontiac, Michigan, and it's only about the Super Bowl. Or you cover a Super Bowl, in any number of places, or a national championship game in any number of places, and that's the thing. For Miami, that's not necessarily the thing. There's, diverse communities and so forth, but a unifier in Miami is the need to find a winner. There haven't been many sports winners in Miami of late, Dan. The Miami Dolphins haven't won a playoff game since 2000. And the University of Miami hasn't won a national championship since 2002? Yeah. So, and for Miami, success isn't, it is not, you won the conference or you won the division. It's, you better win it all. Otherwise, it's not that.
Right.
So obviously now the Hurricanes have a chance to be back. Mario cringes because he hates that phrase. The U is back. And, the team that has mostly given Miami all of its happiness from a sports realm of late was a soccer team.
How about the Panthers? What are you talking about? The Panthers won two in a row.
No, I was getting to that. I wasn't done. But by the way, the Panthers play 35 miles up north in Broward County. Yeah. They don't come to Miami. Nonetheless, South Florida, I get it. And then the Heat as well, years ago, maybe a decade ago or whatever. So that town is a football town. Kids in Miami grow up to do two things in sports. It's not hockey, okay? And typically it's not basketball. It's football and baseball. And football has let us down tremendously. Look, and the obvious evidence is the Heisman Trophy winner is from Miami. The next best player on that team, on that offense, is from Miami. They beat Ohio State. Their best player is from the wide receiver, Jeremiah, whatever. Yeah. Is from Miami. So all I can say is that Miami is a football town, has always been a football town, and it needs its football happiness.
All right, I'm going to disagree with you. I thought what Ben Johnson did is great for sports. I think it's great for rivalries. That's how we used to feel about Purdue. Purdue would feel about us. But, behind the scenes, we're all buddies. You disagree. I'll take anybody's opinion into consideration because I understand what Ben Johnson did after the win is controversial. I personally like it. Give me your thoughts on it.
I believe in sportsmanship.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Look, in my private life, in my business, I'm as competitive as they come. My wife says that that's the reason that I had a heart attack in 2020 is because I'm too competitive, because I want to be first and I want to be the best and so forth and so on. But when it's over, it's over. And if you won, it behooves you to show some grace. It behooves you to show some, if you want, mercy. I mean, there's nothing more disgusting to me than an ass as a winner. Because as a competitor, if I get beat by an ass as a winner, I want to kill him. That's where we're at. Ben Johnson did a great job this year. He brought that team back from nothing. Chicago is alight with the Bears now. He beat the Packers, who they hate and have hated for 120 years. But you know what? Damn it. George Halas would shake Curly Lambeau's hand. And Ben Johnson, you're not lessened by shaking Matt LaFleur's hand.
I thought that was bullshit. I thought the handshake, and I've been, in rivalries, it's way lesser degree, but Toledo Bowling Green was a massive rivalry in our area, and I'd get my ass beat or I'd win, I'd shake hands. I thought that made him look weak. The thing in the locker room, that's your locker room. I get it. People know it's being taped, but I'm with you. I thought the handshake made him look weak. I thought he should have looked the other man in the eye, shook his hand, and whatever consequences come. But the locker room thing to me, I guess I should have prefaced that because I'm with you on the handshake. I like Ben Johnson. I'm a Bears fan, grew up a Bears fan, but I thought that was bullshit. I thought that was weak.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
The locker room part, hey, that's their private domain, and that's the way he's talking to his team. He's conducting business. In the locker room, right? Yeah. The fact that the Bears put it out, whatever. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But it's the handshake
I agree.
That bothered me.
I agree. Coach Knight would shake Katie's hand. I would shake the assistant's hand, whether we got our ass beat or whether we won. And then you go either be really happy in the locker room or you bitch, whine, and moan in the locker room. I could not agree more. Mike Tomlin, is he the coach next year of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
If he's not, it's mostly his decision because there are times, and we've seen it this coaching cycle already, that maybe after a long time at a place, it's better for both parties to go in their separate directions. Although I think that the Baltimore Ravens, it won't be better for the Baltimore Ravens, by the way, having separated from John Harbaugh. Separated meaning fire. In Pittsburgh, they don't fire coaches. I don't believe that they will fire Mike Tomlin. We're talking about, I get it, he hasn't won a playoff game since 2016. But we're also talking about a guy that just won his division title. Okay. Won 10 games, double-digit games. And people want him fired. So I don't think ownership is of that mind, but Mike Tomlin might be of that mind to say, you know what, maybe I should go do something else for a little bit. And that something else might be, like everybody's saying, television or whatever, where he can talk about the quote unquote collective. I don't know how that'll fly on television. Or he can go coach another team. By the way, there's 8 openings.
Right.
So you don't think that Mike Tomlin might draw some interest if he becomes available? I think he might.
Yeah, you buying John Harbaugh sifting through offers? Does John Harbaugh have his choice of all these jobs, you think?
Yes.
Does he?
He has his choice of all these jobs that he wants, because there are some he doesn't. And I would say to you that the ones that he is probably the most in tune with right now are the Atlanta Falcons, the New York Giants, the Tennessee Titans, and that's probably the top 3. What do those 3 have in common? Let's see. The Giants, who do they have at quarterback? Jackson
Young
Dart.
Quarterback, maybe?
Yes, a quarterback that he can develop and grow with. kind of like what he did with Lamar Jackson. Yes. People forget Lamar Jackson was drafted, the bottom of the first round, and he was not what he is today. He wasn't anywhere close. He was developed in Baltimore. People think, well, you couldn't win a championship with Lamar Jackson. Well, the first 2.5 years, he wasn't Lamar Jackson. He was another guy that came out of college. I remember watching Lamar Jackson when Harbaugh put him in the playoffs, and he was terrible. But Harbaugh put him in the playoffs, and the next year he was the starter ahead of Joe Flacco because he was the future too. So getting back to Tomlin, or rather Harbaugh, that's the guy, or that's the scenario that he's looking at, that and salary cap and ownership. If you don't have a viable quarterback in the plan, or the chance to get one like the Las Vegas Raiders, who will be drafting Fernando Mendoza, Harbaugh probably isn't too enthused about your options.
Have we seen the last Aaron Rodgers?
They were talking on the broadcast last night like it's over. Like I was thinking these guys have talked to Rodgers in production meetings and he's told them. And so I think the probability is that we've seen the last of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, when they built that package with Rodgers sitting on a throne and all that kind of stuff, that just didn't happen. That was being told. What will happen? Because it blew up a little bit, and maybe it's overblown, and I think it's fairly typical. But what will happen with Sirianni and A.J. Brown in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think A.J. Brown has played his last game for the Eagles. And I think Kevin Patullo, the offensive coordinator, has coached his last game for the Eagles. That was not good. That was not good this year. And it will have to happen, or Nick Sirianni will have to go. It's as simple as that. It's hard to fire a Super Bowl winning coach 2 years after he wins the Super Bowl when he won the division and went to the playoffs the following year. Stranger things have happened, but it's hard to do. And it's one of those, the old saying, you don't dump your current girlfriend until you have a new girlfriend in line. Well, the Eagles might want to look around because the guys that would, make up the current girlfriend roster, unless Harbaugh is the guy, it would probably be a downgrade.
Yeah, I mean, people can. It seems like Nick Sirianni is on the wrong side of the media, the fans. Even though he's won, it seems like he and Jalen Hurts are on the wrong side of this whole thing. And I look around, I go, wait a second. Pretty successful combination, but they're on the wrong side. I mean, people bitch about everything about him, and is it warranted?
Well, yeah, it's warranted. Look, I don't know that Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback. He's a good quarterback who's good enough to win a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and go to 2, by the way.
Yeah.
But he needs people around him, and he needs good offensive coordinating. Let's put it that way. And he has the people around him, although they had some injuries this year, specifically at the right tackle spot. But the offensive coordinating failed him. Let's start a rumor. Let's start Mike Tomlin to the Eagles.
Let's go.
Let's
go.
The Eagles dump Sirianni, and the Steelers move on from Tomlin, or he moves on from them, and you go east, young man.
Hey, if you can coach in Pittsburgh for 18, 20 years, whatever it's been, you can certainly coach in Philadelphia. So he would be the perfect guy. Let's start it. Hey, I'm hearing I just heard it. Mike Tomlin to the Eagles. There you go. I'm hearing that. I'm hearing that from a very respected NFL writer. You know, that's what I'm hearing.
Who just lost his mind and just flew off the ledge there.
That's right. All right, who's the best team? Last thing, I know you got to run and do a bunch of Hall of Fame stuff, but who's the best team each division, NFC, AFC?
All right, so I like defense. It's something that I like.
Yeah, me too.
Because you can't win championships typically unless you play some good defense. And the two best defenses that remain in the playoffs right now are the Seahawks and Houston. Unfortunately for them, the Seahawks and Houston have uneven quarterback play. The best quarterback left in the tournament plays for the Buffalo Bills. His name is Josh Allen. So what can I tell you, man? The best quarterback in the NFC is Matt Ryan. Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
And the best quarterback right now in the AFC is Josh Allen. But the best defense is the Seahawks and Houston. One of those.
Hey, I'll tell you this. I wasn't mad at New England's defense either, man. That was pretty good as well.
Yeah, they're good. They're not as good as we saw. What we saw there was almost as much the Chargers having nothing up front, and most of their good up front players are on injured reserve and out for the season. When you lose your starting left tackle who's all world, and then you lose your starting left tackle again, who shift over from right tackle, who's all world, Joe Alt, you're not likely to replace them successfully. And they didn't, and it got Justin Herbert destroyed. Herbert is taking a bunch of criticism for being terrible and being terrible in the playoffs. He didn't have a chance. He had zero chance. He got hit 24 times in that one game.
Honest to God, like, people can bitch about Herbert. They can bitch about Aaron Rodgers last night, but they had no chance. They had zero. Like, the things DeNico Ryans and those guys were doing was criminal to Aaron Rodgers last night, and Herbert was the same thing. Like, I'm with you. I'm glad you said that, because the easiest thing to do is to say, well, see, the quarterback play was terrible. Wait a second here now. They're getting their ass kicked. I mean, damn. Not much you can do.
Also, you mentioned Rodgers. DK Metcalf, what did he believe he was still on suspension?
Wow. I saw your tweet. That was awesome. Like, what the hell? He can't catch. I get it. You look like Superman, but you can't catch. Honest to God. Guys are making Armando, guys are making unbelievable catches. And this dude can't catch a ball. I don't know, man.
He's a great talent.
Yeah.
He's getting paid like a number one wide receiver, $32 million a year. He did not come to, the scene as a number one wide receiver, getting suspended for going, to a blue hair in the stands. And then his performance last night was atrocious.
As the lovely Lee Ross Dakich says, you got one job, really. Catch the ball. Really? I mean, I know they want you to block and all that, but really, you got one job. I mean, hey, Armando, have a great day. Wednesday in Indy, but hey, the U versus IU, it's going to be fun regardless. I can't wait. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, come here. Get away. Come here.
All right, man.
Friend. All right.
Well,
there he goes, the great Armando Segura. Read him, know him, love him at Outkick.com. All right. Come here. Get away. That's an old reference, ladies and gentlemen. Got a lot to get to when we come back. I love talking to Armando. All right, it's the it story of the sports world right now that has everybody giving their take, including me. And I will say this, Jacksonville Jaguar media member consoled Liam Cohen after the team's playoff loss and the reporter set the world on fire because of how she did it. One of the good ones, Pat McAfee, stood up for the reporter, Lynn Jones, while running down all of the other sourpuss media members who were so offended by the narrative. Here is the reporter. Let's set this up. Here is the reporter consoling Jaguars coach Liam Cohen after the game.
I want to tell you, congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank you.
You hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank you.
You did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, I will say this, the media outrage slowed because people came after the media, but I will also say this, the media love. If a white guy like me would have said that, people would still be losing their minds at me. Not me, but anyway, I get it. I do. And that's initially was my thought. And then I thought about it more and said, you know what? That's pretty nice. I mean, what is a press conference for anyway? Who sets the rules? I mean, tell me. Coach gets up there, and it's the most demeaning thing ever for a coach. Let me just tell you, a coach puts in weeks and hours and months and sometimes forever to win a game. And then you got to get up there and you got to explain it to a bunch of sarcastic, lazy-ass people. I've said this forever. Look at the media, at least in Indianapolis. They dress for shit. They look for shit. They're all fat-ass guys. And in the case of two guys, James Boyd and Stephen Holder, African-Americans, if you criticize them, you're racist. I mean, they're literal, what's the right word? They are literally the dregs of our society, but they sit there with their self-importance. So I thought to myself, who actually makes the rules in this? Who makes the rules? Nobody makes the rules. So this lady took 17 seconds out of her day, said something nice to a coach, and I thought to myself, that's pretty good once I really thought about it. All right, but a lot has come of this. Here's Pat McAfee discussing basically what I've discussed, that all these reporters are douchebags. And McAfee says it in a very McAfee way.
Most of the people that have been covering sports for a long time, not most, sorry, a percentage larger than you would hope, much larger than you would hope, that chose to do sports journalism. I think they don't like sports. I think these people hate sports. I think they're political journalists by nature who preyed on sports as an easier path to be able to get into the biz. You know, sports journalism is everywhere. Sports media, bum, bum, bum. I don't think they like sports. I think they cover sports. I don't think they like sports. So whenever you're always looking to kill something because you don't like it, I don't know if that should just necessarily be the only thing considered as journalism. Like, how about we just learned how Liam Cohen, who might be a GOAT when it's all said and done, which is what Lynn Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
hey,
you're the one.
Nobody expected this out of you guys. He might be a GOAT whenever it's all said and done, which means there'll probably be documentaries, there'll be entire things about Liam Cohen. They'll be able to now know exactly how he was in one of the most miserable moments of his life because Lynn Jones provided him with a compliment. He was classy, he was had a lot of humility. He did not bury her, he did not get uncomfortable, he didn't deflect, he didn't do anything. He was just a humble, classy dude in a miserable time. Whenever he knows that he let down his team, he let down everybody. He feels terrible in that moment.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's pretty well said, and he's right. Most reporters don't like sports. They're always negative. I don't get that. Jamel Hill, who always has the right take on things, that can't be a reporter because if so, I would not have used the term awesome because that's what Adam Schefter used. Well, guess what? Ms. Hill found out the woman was black, and she went straight identity politics and changed her voice. Oh, please support Lynn Jones. But I mean, if you didn't think that Jamel Hill was influenced solely by race, you do now if you're paying attention. And Bobby Barack has a great article about it. There is no bigger phony than Jamel Hill. She should not be allowed to be in the same sentence as Lynn Jones. Here's a Bills reporter. He's all mad, right? Either be a reporter or be a fan. You can't be both. Why not? Why not? You can't be both if you hate sports. What's this guy's name? John something? You know, hey, Johnny baby. Why can't you be both? I don't understand. What? Of course you can be both. I mean, most of the guys in Indy that cover the Colts are little fanboys anyway. They are. I mean, let's just be honest. They're little fanboys that protect their access I don't think, and again, this is because of the sincerity Lynn Jones showed that I changed my tune. But the little guys here in Indy, the Stephen Holders of James Boyd, they're such little fanboys, they can't wait to get access to the general managers, so they kiss their ass as fanboys. I mean, let's just call that what it is. It's exactly what it is. But Lynn Jones's sincerity rang deep. Here's Lynn Jones's message to her detractors.
Kind of went in on this.
Yes.
And he said nothing awesome about this, called you fake media,
Talk
said
to
that
me.
you shouldn't even have been up there asking those kind of questions.
Oh.
So when you heard that, how did that make you feel?
I don't take no offense to it. Listen, I've been in this business more than 25 years. I've interviewed from Barack Obama to Terry Bradshaw to, what's my guy named Tiger Woods. So he can say whatever he wants about fake news. I am a member of the Black Press, NNPA, the National Newspaper Association that's been around more than 100 years. I'm the associate editor of the Jacksonville Free Press, one of the more than 230 African-American newspapers still printing in this country today. In Jacksonville, you had the Florida Star since 1955. We've been around since 1986. In Philadelphia, the Philly Tribune has been printing since 1884. In my hometown of Detroit, the Michigan Chronicle has been printing since 1935. So support the Black Press. So he can call me fake all you want to, honey. I've been doing this a long time.
Let me tell you something.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, the miserable pricks that cover teams on a daily basis will never understand it. They just won't. And good for her. Like I said, her sincerity won me over. At first, my thought was, I see everybody loving this, but what if a white dude did it? And then I thought a little deeper than that. And I said, you know what? Her sincerity and genuine concern and words made a difference. And I like it. There's no rules for these press conferences, none. And these little crumb-stained, pizza-stained douchebags that sit there and act like they know something about football, basketball, baseball, whatever they're covering, are full of shit. I mean, just look at how they dress. Look at how they comport themselves. It's easy. Hey, woke-a-dope me. Woke-a-dope. Thank you, President Trump, for freeing us from that wasn't real socialism. What? Huh? All I know is this. Inflation is down. The market is up. You don't like it? Bite me. All I know is the border is closed. Remember when Biden sent trucks to rip open razor wire on the border so illegal immigrants can come in? Thank God for the American voters standing up and getting Biden, Kamala Harris out, and Trump in. Next! Man, oh man, 10,000 scandals. For those of you that don't know, that's a play on 10,000 lakes. Man, oh man. I don't know. Tim Wallace is talking tough, but boy, has he lost weight. And anytime I see that, I say to myself, stress has got him. Next. Liberals? Liberals, anything at all? Curse you, Donald Trump. That's right. Everything that goes bad is Donald Trump. But Trump, hey, Lynn Jones, Trump. Hey, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost. Trump. I can't get enough tickets to the championship. Trump. I get it. It's all Trump. Last thing. You know, a few weeks ago, we had Ted Cruz on our show, and he was great. We were talking about he and John Kennedy going at witnesses in front of Senate committees, and it's really good theater. It's great. But we need some arrests. We need some people to be held accountable for all of the scandals going on across the country. We do. We need to see perp walks. We need to see handcuffs. We need to see people in front of judges, not committees. We've seen committees, and they're interesting. And you say, oh, gotcha, or oh, that guy's lying, or that lady's lying, or whatever. But it's time to see some people actually held accountable, regardless of whether there's going to be a protest, regardless of whether there's going to be a march. I don't care if you're a man, woman, white, black, green, whatever. It's time for the American people who have read and read and read about all this fraud across the country, whether it's obviously Minnesota or whether it is California, because look, we're getting to tax time. April comes quick once we're in the middle to late January. It comes quick. And frankly, I don't know, but when I get these feelings, I feel like I'm representative of the American people. I'm sitting here going, why am I paying taxes if some Somalis are going to steal it? Why am I paying taxes if all of our folk in Congress are getting rich? Why are we paying taxes? I guarantee you, most people across the world or across this country are thinking the same way. Hold on. April 15th, I got to write a check. You guys are mad at me because I got $601 paid to me in Venmo? Hold on. Somalis are going back to Somalia or wherever the hell they go with briefcases full of cash, and my little toothpaste tube is 1 ounce too big or my water's too big and I got to throw it out? No. We need to see some real results here. I don't give a damn. I'm a Trump fan. Pam Biondi, whoever it is, we need to see somebody's ass prosecuted, period. I don't think it's going to happen personally. I don't. I think this is all a bunch of talk. I hope I'm wrong. We'll play this back if I am. But it's time for action. As the lovely Lee Ross says to me, Dakich, a little less talk, a lot more action. We'll see you tomorrow.